Good morning on this May the 6th, 2021. Let it be known we are expecting to have actor Javon Johnson from Tyler Perry's The Oval this morning. But first, let us bring on our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacy. On behalf of the Black Press of America, the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Karen Carter Richards, our distinguished chair, and all the executive committee and all the members of our board of directors. And I say on behalf of the 230 African American owned newspapers and media companies that are current members of the NNPA, we welcome you to Let It Be Known.
Yes, and Dr. Chavis, misinformation and disinformation are the primary drivers of vaccine hesitancy in the African American and Latino neighborhoods. But still, individuals should cautiously seek trusted voices in their respective communities who only present life-saving facts. That is the message from two of the nation's leading doctors who are members of the White House COVID-19 response team, the National Newspaper Publishers Association, headed by yourself, Dr. Chavis, and our chair, Karen Carter Richards, was able to spend some time yesterday with the two doctors, Dr. Marcella Nunez Smith and Dr. Cameron Webb, who really talked about the importance of everyone getting vaccinated. They told us, Dr. Chavis, in that interview, that the Biden-Harris administration is not only meeting, but exceeding expectations of making vaccines available to all. It was a great interview, Dr. Chavis.
It was a great interview, and it was very gratifying to see African American physicians, medical leaders, medical authorities taking lead of the White House task force, and certainly their response team from the White House to COVID-19. Dr. Cameron Webb is a distinguished college professor, medical authority, still practicing medicine at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. And of course, Dr. Marcella Nunez Smith is a distinguished medical professor at Yale University, but also a practicing physician, still helping to lead that response, that COVID-19 response team from the White House. So it was great to see African Americans take charge, take lead. And what they said to us yesterday in your recap, you're right, Stacy, we need to overcome some of the misinformation and disinformation. And that's why the Black press is so important. We deal with facts. We deal with truth. I'm so pleased that in the 194th year of the Black Press of America, we are still the trusted voice of Black America. And so one of the things we talked about was how the Black press can further assist the White House, can further assist the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and further assist the Department of Health and Human Services in getting this messaging out. We need actual facts over the disinformation. We need actual truth. Unfortunately, Stacey, we live in an environment where there's some who still talk about alternative truths. Alternative truths are a lie. There's no alternative to the truth. If it's not the truth, then it's a lie. And unfortunately, there are too many lies out there on social media about the vaccine, too many lies out there about COVID-19. And people, unfortunately, in the African American community are taking this disease, this deadly disease, too lightly. So yesterday was refreshing. It was informative. And I believe, Stacey, people can still see the whole videotape at blackpressusa.com.
Yeah, and our social media channels at YouTube, Black Press USA TV, and of course right here, and Twitter at Black Press USA. And let's say good morning to Joni King, Annette Phillips, Trade Winds is watching all the way from London in the UK. Nicole McDaniel, good morning as well, and Michelle Madison, and all who are watching, and of course, down at the West Side Gazette, Bobby Henry. Bobby's always great to see you every morning. Dr. Chavis, one of the things too that struck me, a lot of things that struck me with that interview yesterday, these doctors talked about how the numbers, we always talk about how not enough African Americans are getting the vaccine. Well, that might not be true. What they brought out too was that the numbers may reflect 9% or 10% of African Americans reported getting vaccinated, but there are an additional 40% that's unaccounted for. They don't know the ethnicity or the race of the individual. And also because people are getting vaccinated, they're taking their second shot elsewhere. As Dr. Webb mentioned, they may go to a CVS for the first shot and not wait for to go back to the CVS for the second shot. They may go to a clinic or somewhere else for that second shot. So the administration doesn't have a way of totally tracking that. He's optimistic, Dr. Chavis, as well as Dr. Nunes Smith, that a lot more African Americans are among those 105 million who have been vaccinated. I thought that was a really interesting point, what they brought out yesterday.
It was a great point, and it shows that the consciousness, when I'm so proud of Black America, when we hear the truth, we respond to the truth. And while there were a lot of falsehoods and stereotypes about the vaccine and about COVID-19 initially, that's why last year, Stacy, we started the NMPA Coronavirus Task Force. And actually, Dr. Cameron Webb was a part of that task force, as well as Dr. Ebony Hilton and the distinguished leader over at Meharry Medical College. Everybody worked together. And now, since there's more accurate information out there, the Black community is responding. So I agree. It was optimistic yesterday. It was factual. It's good for us to hear the truth, particularly when it comes through the voice and experience of these medical authorities, leaders who are leading the White House task force.
Yeah, and just so our audience will know, we are taking questions this morning about our interview yesterday as we await Javon Johnson, the actor from Tyler Perry's The Oval. He's expected to make an appearance, but in the meantime, the important news is the vaccine. Dr. Chavis, the Biden-Harris administration had pledged to get 100 million people vaccinated in the first 100 days. They far exceeded that. They're on their way to getting as many as 200 million people vaccinated within the first 200 days. So yesterday we got to hear from the two distinguished doctors. And another point, our chair, Karen Carter Richards, had asked this question, and it was a really interesting, the response about pregnant women. What's their status? How does that turn out? And the doctors mentioned that when they get vaccinated, it also helps the baby. The baby becomes inoculated as well. We didn't know that before.
Exactly. It was breaking news yesterday, and particularly for African American women, families, mothers, expectant mothers, that the vaccine not only protects the mother from the virus, but also protects the newborn child.
Yeah, and also several other points, Dr. Chavis, that I really appreciated. As you said, they were very candid. They wasn't pulling punches. They was giving us factual information. But I really appreciated the fact that they brought out how safe the vaccines are, including Johnson & Johnson. And we know that there was the blood clot issue with initially six people. I think it grew to about 14 or 15. But in the context of this, 8 million people have taken the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. 16 people developed some sort of reaction, a blood clot reaction, which when you think about it, they're not in serious health. There's not a serious health threat no longer. They got the treatment that they needed, and they're fully vaccinated.
Exactly. So some people have pre-existing conditions allergic to in vaccine. And some of those 16 that were cited had some type of pre-existing condition that made them more prone to having an allergic reaction to the vaccine. But that's the purpose of research. That's the purpose of on-time monitoring what is going on. I want to go back to something else you said about the lack of data. Some Republican-led states were refusing to give the government the data on the racial breakdown of who has been vaccinated, like in Florida, like in Georgia, in Mississippi and Alabama. These red states are doing everything they can. I shouldn't call them red states. States that are led by red governors are doing everything they can to thwart the success of the campaign to make America safe again. And this is a serious problem. These are the same states that are suppressing voting rights. These are the same states that have increases in racially motivated police brutality. So I think we really got to let people stay vigilant around these vaccines, but also stay vigilant to make sure we vote some of these people out of office that are impairing the health and safety of our communities.
Yeah, and Michelle Madison, Dr. Chavis, is writing this morning, I am concerned about my friends, colleagues, and family members that refuse to get vaccinated. She did share that on yesterday's show. And the doctor's response to that also was very direct. We are our brother's keepers. We must discuss this with our family. We must
That's right.
discuss this with our friends on our social networks. It's up to us to have that discussion because, historically, yes, African Americans, and rightfully so, did not trust the government. They did not trust science. Well, as you mentioned, Dr. Chavis, a little while ago, Meharry Medical College, the president and CEO, Dr. James Hildreth, and we said this yesterday on the show, he was leading that effort he was on the committee to approve the vaccines. And I remember him distinctively telling us, Dr. Chavis, you and I, that there was no way that he was going to approve a vaccine that was not effective and that was posed a danger, particularly to the Black community. Also, it was a Black woman scientist who helped develop the vaccine. It
That's
was
right.
a Black nurse.
Dr. Corbett. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was a Black nurse in New York, at my old hospital there, Long Island Jewish Hospital. It's called Northwell Health now. Was the first in the country to get the vaccine. So we're seeing Black people take the lead in this. Look, 105 million people, the results speak for themselves.
Exactly. And of course, this week, President Biden announced a very ambitious goal that by July the 4th, 2021, 70% of all adults in the United States, the goal is to have 70% of adults to be vaccinated with one of the available and safe vaccines. That's an ambitious goal, and we want to make sure that African Americans are not left out of that 70%.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can watch this interview. We encourage you to watch this discussion. Really, it was more of a discussion than it was an interview. This discussion between the White House Health Equity COVID-19 response team and the Black press. You can see it here on the same channel at any time. You can see it at YouTube, Black Press USA TV, and Twitter at Black Press USA. Very important information, whether you are for or against or in between the vaccine. It's really, really vital information that only the Trusted Voice can bring you. The Trusted Voice, of course, for 194 years, we were founded before the end of slavery, where our founders said we wish to plead our own cause. For too long, others have spoken for us. So now we get to speak for ourselves, y'all. So let's follow the science, follow your personal choice. It is a personal choice, but we encourage you to get factual information. And Dr. Chavis, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration reportedly is set to approve Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine for adolescents ages 12 to 15 by early next week. Pfizer, which obtained FDA's emergency use authorization for those 16 and older in December, has applied to amend the order to include young people as young as 12 years old. The FDA is reviewing the data submitted by Pfizer, which said in late March that a clinical trial involving 2,260 12 to 15-year-olds showed 100% efficacy rate and no
Absolutely.
major safety issues. So
that's a great statistic, Stacy. But you remember what the Children's Defense Fund told us a few weeks ago. Today, in 2021, the majority of children under the age of 18 in the United States, right now, today, are people of color children. So African American children, Latino children, Asian children, Native American children make up the majority of young people today. And so now Pfizer is making that move. That's going to be a great benefit to children in our community from 12 age and up. And they also have announced research to even go down to infants. So, Pfizer is a partner of the NMPA. We work with them and get vital information about sickle cell, vital information about the clinical trials of COVID, and now vital information about the vaccinations and what categories are available. So this is great news. we're making science is advancing the cause. We should listen to the science. We should listen to African American authorities. You remember, Stacy, people are asking us, well, where are the Black people involved in this? Not only the Black people help develop the vaccines, but Black people are providing the leadership now out of the White House to make sure that all Americans, but particularly African Americans, get kind of protection, so our families don't have to be having these funerals and some of these long-term deadly benefits of coronavirus. You don't want to play with this virus. Once you get it, there's sometimes long-term, benefits, not benefits, long-term ailments as a result of having the virus. So you want to do everything you can to avoid getting the virus and protect your families.
Yeah, you're right. And Dr. Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is one of the more trusted voices out there, what did he say? He said, don't give me any credit. He says, give the Black scientists the credit. They're the ones.
That's right.
He said it himself. He reminded me of Elvis Presley. Don't give me credit for my music. Give, Chubby Checker and those guys credit for my music. Bobby Henry says, let us, members of the Black press, create our own PSA showing our people that we got the vaccinations and broadcast it everywhere. And Bobby, that's been going on a lot. We've seen Barack Obama and so many others, people of stature and people of color who have stature do videos. Even Dr. Ebony Hilton down in Virginia, Dr. Hilton has been a major, major resource on this virus, on the vaccines, and she took hers publicly. She filmed hers as well. And so we got the chance to see that as well. Dr. Chavis, you wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, I think Bobby's got a great suggestion. So Bobby, maybe between now and our convention in June, we should try to put that video together of all the publishers that have gotten vaccinated.
I want to see Bobby on the front lines there.
Absolutely, with his sleeves roll up. That would be great. Now, I understand we may have a clip from yesterday. Yes, it was so great.
Absolutely. Actually, let's go to that clip from yesterday. Well, perhaps it's not quite ready, but in the meantime, as we get the clip ready, I want to say good morning to James Wright. Thanks for always watching and supporting James, as well as David Youngblood and Royal Height. Brother, if that's your real name, I'm jealous. I love that. Royal Height.
All right, here's the clip. Welcome to the Black Press of America, the National Newspaper Publishers Association. We're very pleased to work for this White House briefing today. We have a very close relationship with the Biden-Harris campaign. And with us today, I just want to briefly introduce the chair of our board, Karen Carter Richards, who is a distinguished publisher of the Forward Times newspaper in Houston, Texas, and a third-generation publisher. Karen, glad you have us with us today, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That's Chavis.
And
okay, so we're having some technical difficulties there. We wanted to show you some of the commentary given by Dr. Webb and Dr. Nunez Smith. But as we get that together, Dr. Chavis, the White House has worked closely with the Black press since Biden has taken over. What does that, Dr. Chavis, you're the lead, you're the president. What does that mean to you in the leadership of the National Newspaper Publishers Association that the administration is working so closely with the Black press?
Well, we want to thank Cedric Richmond, who is the highest ranking Black in the White House, next to the Vice President of the United States is African American, Senator Kamala Harris, now Vice President Kamala Harris. We work very close with the Vice President of the United States. We work very close with Cedric Richmond, who's the senior advisor to President Biden, and the whole White House team. I just want to share with our publishers and all the listeners, we hear from the White House every day, 7 days a week. We have very exchanges as they move around the country, alerting our publishers in all the markets. But also, I'm pleased to announce, let's break a little news for, I think Norman's ready with the clip, that tomorrow we're meeting with the SBA, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce and the Biden-Harris administration. It's the head of the SBA is requesting a meeting with the NNPA to see how we can utilize our network to distribute more information to strengthen Black-owned businesses. We're a trade association of Black-owned business. So that's just another example, Stacey, of the very close working relationship. And I would say on the record that we probably have a closer working relationship with this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, than any administration that's ever served the United States over the last 20 or 50 years.
Now, that's saying a whole lot, Dr. Chavis. And let's go to that clip from yesterday again.
Issues that we serve, we are the trusted voice of Black America as the Black press, and we want to be working more closely with the CDC and with the White House in your messaging. But this goal of 70% by July the 4th, can you both speak to this goal?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Dr. Chavis. I mean, it's a very ambitious goal, right? But we know that ultimately we're trying to get everyone in the country vaccinated who medically is able to. And so that is ultimately where we're headed. And we know that we have to do this as quickly as possible for all the reasons folks have heard about, variants, other things, but also just getting people connected back with their lives. And Dr. Webb just told you where we are in terms of the state of the data. That's really important. This is a big goal for us to fill the data gap. I think it's a moment also for us to recognize and realize how hyper-local all of this is. And so even if you look at the data by state, by zip code, there's a difference in terms of the proportion of people who are vaccinated by race, ethnicity across these different jurisdictions. And so what I always try to stress to folks is, yes, as a country, we have this goal, but this has to be a community level goal too. I mean, here where I live in Connecticut, we see vast difference. In New Haven, where Yale is located, majority a community of color, we're at about 24% rate for vaccination. And some of our other neighbors are at 78% in some of the other zip codes. And so they've already met that target and going past that. And it really is about getting everyone who is in our social network, our community, vaccinated. So just important for us to hold on to this idea as a really hyper-local community level phenomenon on goal. Very generous to talk about the partnership here and how we might work better together. One of the things Dr. Webb and I were just talking about recently is how key it is for folks to see people they know getting vaccinated, right? That's really important. So lifting up those stories in Black press of just folks who are getting vaccinated and given their story, kind of what was their vaccination journey, what motivated them to get vaccinated, having them talk openly and honestly about their experience. This is such a powerful vehicle for combating the misinformation, the disinformation that's everywhere in social media. It really is one of our greatest challenges right now, is getting ahead of this narrative where there's
Well, there you go. The misinformation and disinformation. Again, you can watch that full discussion right here on this channel here at Facebook, various Facebook channels, YouTube, Black Press USA TV as well. Dr. Chavis, you are muted. We like to hear your voice.
Yes, I wanted to make sure there was no feedback by the clip. But great. Again, hats off to Dr. Marcella Nunez-Smith, the lead of the White House response team, and to Dr. Cameron Webb, a member of that team and also a close supporter of the Black Press of America. I'm optimistic, much more optimistic now in May of 2021 than we were 12 months ago. I think that things are opening up gradually, and I believe that if we can continue to get more of our people to protect themselves from the virus. And even after you get your vaccination, you should keep wearing your mask, you should keep washing your hands, you should keep appropriate social distancing, even though things are opening up. I'm always cautious, Stacy. I don't want to make sure that we are not going to expose ourselves to be infected. So I think everybody should still, be mindful that this is a pandemic. Look what is going on in India right now. People are dying by the thousands every day. In Brazil, dying by the thousands every day. So please don't take this disease lightly, this pandemic lightly. We're not completely out of the woods yet. So let's be vigilant, let's be informed. And I'm so proud that the Black press is helping keep a Black America attuned to what the true facts are.
Yeah, and Dr. Chavis, you mentioned being vaccinated and still being careful. Now, they also point out, and again, we encourage everyone to watch this discussion in its entirety, because the doctors also pointed out that once you are vaccinated, if you have the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccination, it's 2 weeks after that you are fully inoculated. The Johnson & Johnson, I think it's 1 week or 3 weeks, something of that nature. But watch it to find out. Don't let me tell you. But here's the point, though. The chances of that virus affecting you later is so small. It can happen, they said, but you do have that protection of being vaccinated. And so that's another reason why they strongly encourage everyone to get vaccinated. And one of the things that Dr. Webb and Dr. Nunez-Smith pointed out too, they enjoy seeing grandmothers and grandfathers being able to hug their grandchildren again. They enjoy seeing family members being able to get together again. It's something that we all, I'm sure, aspire to if we haven't already been able to do so. And so the vaccine is really clearing the way for some sort of normalcy. Now, will we ever see the normalcy we had before the pandemic? Who knows? But we know that things have been far from normal over the past year, and this vaccine allows you to get to some sense of normalcy.
Absolutely. We say a luta continua, the struggle continues. But as the struggle continues, we also are making progress. Very pleased with the resilience of the Black press, very pleased with the resilience of Black America. It's in our DNA. We've had hard times and challenges before. We had pandemics before. But the extent to which we can keep each other informed with the truth, with facts, with the science, is the extent to which we will continue to make progress. And of course, we got the great convention coming up, Stacy, on June 23rd through the 26th, 2001. I want to encourage everybody to register. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Register now for the convention.
You stole my thunder there, Dr. Chavis. I was going to mention it.
Well, no, go ahead. We can reinforce each other's thunder.
Yeah, thunder and lightning, Dr. Chavis. That's what we can be in the mornings. Don't forget to register for the upcoming NMPA virtual convention. Listen, there's so many great things, Dr. Chavis, as you well know, and we can't divulge them right now, but so many great things that is going to take place at that convention. You don't want to wait to register. So many surprise guests. Think about last year, just to whet your appetite. Last year, we had, just on the entertainment side, a great performance by Ziggy Marley, a great exclusive performance by The Temptations. Of course, the late, great Mary Wilson performed. Ice Cube received the Artist of the Century Award. We had so much going on last year virtually. And this year, of course, it'll be virtually again. So a lot of great surprises. I know Dr. Chavis, our executive administrator, Claudette Perry, of course, our chair, Karen Carter-Richards, the executive team, Janice Weir down in Atlanta, Fran Farah in North Carolina, Brenda Andrews in Virginia, and of course, Jackie Hampton in Mississippi. They've been working diligently to put together an amazing virtual convention for 2021. So virtual 2021, virtual NMPA 2021.com. Don't wait, register today. They've made it free. So just go in there and type in your information and show up on the 23rd. It's from the 23rd to the 26th. And tomorrow's show, Grammy breakout performer, Mappy. She plays the violin. She's sexy. Y'all gonna love her. She's with us tomorrow. And let it be known, it is not the load that breaks you down. It's the way you carry it. We will see you tomorrow.